Okay, here we go. Oh, we need to move this over. There, that fits better. I'm just having to look at 4 different monitors here while we do this. Welcome to week 2 of the Winter Crit series. You'll probably hear me talking to Ted on the voice radio on Discord here a few times as we go. But other than that, this is a pretty straightforward crit. Let me type to the group here real quick. And let's see what else we need to do. Sorry, we're getting a late start here. I had several people have trouble joining. Let's see here. We want to copy. We need to go back to Facebook. Post this. There we go. Okay. Looks like you're about a minute out here, Ted. Yeah, I'm still streaming it this week, so hopefully it'll be better than watching me get dropped, since I can pop around and just pay attention to what's going on all over the place. All right, let's get the companion app open. There we go. Okay, 15 seconds till we go here. Yep, I can hear. Sounds like Coach Joe in Discord. Yep. Hey, Joe, here we go. Have a good race. Oh, I need to pop ahead here and watch what's going on. Again, I got stuff on several monitors here. We'll go up to the front of the race where you can see big watts. People are at 5, 6, 7 watts a kilo. We got well off the front here. 3 seconds out in the lead. Pretty solid gap, but that's not going to stick with the entire group. You can hear people. I mean, look at Bo Price here putting out 8 watts a kilogram down there. Let's go see what that's doing to his heart rate. Few seconds. Can we see heart rate data? Yeah, he's already at 170 beats per minute. That seems extremely painful. And he has now pulled off the front into the front of the race. You can hear some extreme breathing. We got 18 people on the start line. The power, we got people back here in 13th place putting out 6 watts a kilo. You got people back here towards the back of the race doing what I would consider more reasonable power levels. My character, of course, not doing anything, sitting at the start line. I'm not racing this week due to illness. We've got Martin off the front now making a move. I do expect him to try to get away early. There's not really any natural selections on this crit course. And so if you can just get a gap and hold it, he's got a lot of power to hold. So attacks are hard to pull off if you're with the group. In real life, one of the things you like to do is, you can see where Coach Joe is back there, is ideally you'd be in the pace line and you'd like to kind of come flying by the person on the front to make an attack so that they can't match speed. Kind of like if you're in your car driving 50 miles an hour and you pass a car going 20, it takes quite a bit for them to catch up to you and you get a gap. But in Zwift, what happens is, let's say this all group was all together and Martin was on the front. Somebody at the back starts attacking. Because you can see the numbers of the power on the right side, you can kind of start to see an attack before it happens. Well, it looks like you guys brought him back. So it looks like that was a painful, painful start to a race, fellas. It looked like the whole group was doing 4.5 to 6. So now we've got up towards the front, we've got Matt Thompson, and let's see who's up here up on the front. We'll keep going. Stan Lee, Philip Loya, Philip and Stan on the very front. Ben Proko's up there. Martin. I'm trying to read all these names as they go by. I'm not sure who that Greater Houston Cycling Federation was. It's either got to be Coach Carl or Sebastian, probably. But yeah, we have a huge group up front here. Let's see if we can't get a view of how many we've got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. At least 12 in the front group. All right, looks like you guys have at least 12 in the front selection that are all still there. So that's still a big group, still all together. Looks like we even have, I saw Terry's name in there, Terry Garr, up towards the front. Claims that he's only a runner, not a cyclist, and yet here he is in the first selection in what was a very hard start to the race. And I thought I saw, Kathy is in there too. This is not a only male field. We have mixed men and women racing tonight. We have several women in the field tonight, and you can see that at least one has made the front selection, which is, I mean, you look at the numbers that are being put down here by people. This is no small effort to stay up here. All right, let's go back to the view. You can see she's kind of tail gunning right now. The group is getting strung out a little bit. Let's try and work our way up towards the front and see what's happening here and why we're getting so strung out. I see 3.5 up towards the front. I'm on the, that's not the front. We want to, let's see here, Martin, Bottomer. Yeah, it's, no, he's off the back. Okay. Who is the very front of the race right now? So it looks like Joe Nowak's up at the very front, and he's holding almost 6. That explains it. Joe's actually, you can hear the breathing. Maybe, I'm not sure if the Discord is coming through over the top here, but he's putting in a very hard pull right now. Looks like he's starting to shut it down. And that's so funny. I say starting to shut it down. He was doing 4. That's when you go for 4 to 6. But yeah, he pulled the group up. Ted right on his tail. Bo Price. Who's the Red Crank racer? I saw Red Crank in there. Yeah, we've got still quite a massive group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 in the front group now, fellas. And looks like there goes the next attack. Yeah, who is attacking on the time trial frame in Zwift in the game? For those of you that don't know, if you're watching this, or maybe for the person who's riding it, you do not get the benefit of draft mechanics on a time trial frame. There goes Ben, always and forever in the Bumblebee kit. He's been in that kit for 2 or 3 years. Again, I keep looking to the side here because I'm on so many different monitors. Oh my gosh. We see the red numbers on the watts per kilogram. That means it's a huge effort over threshold. Ted is up there at 12 watts a kilogram trying to shut this down, trying to keep the gap, trying to get back onto Martin. Let's see what he's got. He's on him. So he's done his job to stay with Martin. Ted is a sprinter. A lot of the riders in here, like Martin and Ben up front. Ben is really a mixed discipline racer. Does tries and road races. Martin is a very, very strong tri racer, although he is smoking us all every year in this event. And then Ted is a primarily track sprinter, national champion track sprinter, I should say. And we have a lot of other disciplines in here. I know Stan Lee rides a lot of mountain bike, used to do some road racing. What was that, Ted? Let me count here. Oh, yeah. You definitely shed some people here big time. You shed Bo and Pete and Matt. They're all 6 seconds back now. The front group looks like it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of you now, and the next group of 3 or 4 is about 4 or 5 seconds off of that, but they're falling farther back. Well, you know that Martin and or Ben are going to, I don't know if they're communicating or not, but if they are, you're going to get attacked again at some point. It looks like Stan is trying to bring Joe back up to you, and then you guys will be kind of alone at the front when that happens. But yeah, Joe, it's just you and him if you want to work your way up, because you guys have maxed, you've really gapped the group behind you now. So it's front group or a long day by yourself at this point. So just use Stan Lee, the red crank racer that's with you, Joe. Just make sure you guys alternate until you get up there, because it doesn't look like they're pushing. I mean, they're pushing, but they're not attacking each other up front. They're just maintaining a really high. Oh, no, never mind. There goes Martin again. It looks like they're going to put in a little effort every time you catch that little bitty. It's not a hill, but that little kicker hump right there, that seems to be when they're going every lap. And then he shuts it down right after. He's just trying to break your legs. Okay, so we've got a pretty good, let's see here if we can see. This front group now is quite a ways up. It looks like they've put 7 seconds on Stan and Phil and Dr. Joe. And then we got another 17 seconds back. Let's go check that group out now. This group back here with Bo and Pete and Matt and who is the Torchy's Tacos rider? I'm not sure who that is. And then, so we have a group of 3 here. Am I counting that right? 1, 2, 3. Bo, Matt, why do I only see 2? It says 3. Where's the? Oh, he's right back. So he is just off. And then a little farther back, we have our next group. I just clicked on the wrong monitor because I'm a goober. So this is Coach Carl back here, riding with Kathy Garrett and Terry Garrett, all riding together, husband-wife duo. I see Junior, Seth Holland back there, just set a PR on the lap. Nice job, Seth. And looks like he's got one rider, I'm guessing that's Tegan Morgan, riding with him back there. Let's go ahead and, again, I'm trying to find my mouse on a monitor that's usually over there in front of my Zwift. Here we go. Yep, looks like we got some, right, man, they're doing 4.5, 3.5, they're not doing a slow amount of power. If you look at that's up that kicker, they're doing 20 plus 24 miles an hour right here, 36 kilometers an hour. So it's not slow anywhere in the field today. I mean, you can look even right here, back in 10th place, this group of 3 doing 36 kilos. We can say that's, they're between 21 and 23 miles an hour. Let's move back up here. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Stan and Dr. Joe, really putting some power down. That's close to a 30 mile an hour is when we clicked over here, 48 kilos. And then let's go back up to the front and see, we've got basically a group of 3 right now. Ted, Ben, and Martin off the front, with Stan and Dr. Joe and Phil not far behind. So the podium right now is separated itself. I feel pretty bad. Normally my job in these is to protect Ted. And so when these attacks happen at the front, honestly, it's usually my job to try to cover these and let Ted sit on me since he's a sprinter. And so he's getting double teamed, which quite frankly, this is the trio that we saw a lot last year. And, David Reynolds says he had to reboot, so he didn't make it into the race. I'm sorry to hear that, David. Yeah, I was a little late getting the stream rolling and getting it set up, 1, because I'm not on the bike, so I had to kind of move everything over. And then 2, I had several people having trouble getting into the ride tonight. So, Ted, don't pull them. You're pulling them right now. They're sitting behind you doing 2.5. Don't hold that 4.5 up front. Make them And if they're not gonna pull you, and you guys are all just gonna look at each other, that's to your advantage. But don't be on the front doing 4.5 for them. So again, I'm talking about what's happening in the race here, but I'm not completely unbiased. Ted and I ride together every Thursday night for the past several years on Zwift, and he's just a good friend. So we are still in the team radio, even though we're streaming a allegedly impartial viewing experience here. Let's go back and take a look at the next group back here, if I can find my mouse cursor, and see Joe Nowak and Phil Loya and Stan Lee. Oh, looks like Phil has fallen a little bit back off the group, but Stan and Joe, I mean, let's look at this. They're putting out huge numbers. I mean, we're talking like 300 watts, 5 watts a kilo. I mean, they're really, really pushing back here. And so the group behind them is not going to catch them, even though it's got some strong riders. You can see Bo back there putting out for a bit there. Who's putting out 4. And it's going to get, I think, harder and harder as this goes, since these two are still working together. For Philip here, who, I mean, looking up the road here, you can see this is Philip's view. And if we go back and look at these two, and if I did a rear view here, you can't even really see him coming around the corner yet back there. So I think we got a group of 3 and a group of 2. And Philip is in the loneliest spot in all of racing, where you're just kind of out here between groups by yourself. The front group is 13 seconds up, which might as well be a mile at this point. It feels like an eternity. But he has a healthy enough gap, 15 seconds, to the group behind him back here with, let's see if I can get to their view real quick, with Matt and Bo. And so these two, oh my gosh, Bo is on a time trial frame. So you see him sitting behind right here in the blue. That's Bo in the blue. Sitting behind Matt. He is getting no effect from that draft. He is doing all the work himself to stay with Matt by being on a time trial frame. Because again, in real life time trial frames, you still get a draft effect. In Zwift, whenever you use a TT frame, you can see him down on the arrow bars there, you get no draft benefit. So that is an extremely painful experience that he is having tonight. And a testament to how strong he is that he's in 8th place without any draft benefits. And if we jump back here, we see that Terry and Kathy looks like still, right there with Coach Carl in a threesome back here for, can't tell what places they're in. It looks like 11th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. And then if we drop back a little farther, we've got, let's see here. Sorry, I'd have to pull that up. Annette Morgan riding along, doing well. I mean, still, everyone's like, oh, well, look, she's in 15th at 8th. Yeah, she's still doing almost 20 miles an hour on her own with no draft. This is not an easy race. Racing on here is not easy. We have Seth back here in 13th doing 200 and some odd watts. Again, Seth in the junior program, putting down some really big numbers. Riding back here with, looks like Tegan, also putting up big power numbers. And I mean, look at the numbers these guys are putting up, and they're this far back. This is not an easy race. So let's go back up to the front now and see what's happening up here. Front 3, business as usual. Ted is getting tortured by the triathletes who are probably working together to sort of shut him out a little bit here. And that's racing. That's an appropriate strategy. What should happen here is Ben will attack, make Ted chase it down, because why would Martin do it? Ben and Martin, last year they were kind of working together on C-Mub. I'm not sure if that's the case this year. But even if they're not working together, I can tell you that for all 3 of them, it feels like a 2-on-1. If those 2 are working together against Ted, then Ted is in some trouble. Because what Ted wants to do is sit on one of these wheels until the very last lap and then sprint for it. Now, how likely is that to happen at this point? Not likely at all. You can see they're starting to lap some of the field now. Let's go for coming around the corner here. You can see the map up at the top right as they go through the course. And you can hear the breathing, of course, start to pick up too now. But yeah, this front group still all together. And that's really where the race is. Now this race, hold on one second, bear with me, is 8 laps, so 9.8 miles, so we're going to be just shy of 16 kilos. So that's about when we'll come to it here. So they looks like they probably have 1 lap, maybe 2. Let's I lost my mouse again. Let's see. All right, so Joe is back here in 5th. Stan has separated up 17 seconds. Joe, you got 13 seconds to the person behind you. You should be good as long as you just hold a comfortable pace the rest of the way. And that's really all you have to worry about is Philip behind you. There's nobody else within 30 seconds of you, really. And the front group's now, it looks like half a minute up. So, yeah, just pace yourself for the position you're in. And Ted, do not take any work on the front unless you're going to your next work should just be to close an attack or to sprint. Do not be on the front. Don't be the top power number out of those 3 ever. Let's jump back up the field. All right, so now they're moving through the field here, and you can see the juniors. Looks like you guys have mixed in with the juniors on the previous lap here. That's going to get real interesting. Well, what's funny is they've been lapped, and they're not. I was commenting on it a second ago. They're not slouching. They're doing 250 watts each, and they can't weigh much. They're not old. So they've been putting out decent power, and they're still a lap behind. This race is not. I'm kind of glad I missed this week. Yeah, honestly, Ted, I think you might just want to let when the attack goes. I know that Ben and Martin are kind of working together, but if Martin's going to let Ted go. Or I'm sorry, if Martin's going to let Ben go, then that's fine because I think you can out-sprint Martin. But you can't keep covering attacks from both of them this entire way here. So I would, if Ben's going to go off right here, I think you probably just let him go and sprint for second at this point. Because if you cover this, I promise you Martin's going to go as soon as you cover it. Yeah, Ben up here doing a comfortable pace. Painful for him, not crazy. Okay, so there Martin goes. See, I knew Martin, he's competitive. And he's still going to try and beat Ted. Okay, so Martin, generally speaking, when your teammate's up the road, even to drop the person you're with, you don't want to do that in road racing. Just because if Ted had stayed with this, and again, I don't know for sure that Martin and Ben are working together, but if Ted had stayed with this attack that Martin's doing, then Ted gets a free ride. See, now Ted's going right past Ben, so that's he's attacking over the top of it. So he's been. It looks like he's racing for himself here, or maybe they just, realizing he had. Well, here we go. He's gonna haul it to the finish. Okay. So I believe that's the race. Yep. So Martin first, Ben second, Ted third. Seth and Tegan are a lap behind. We have Stan coming in here. Looks like he's got 48 seconds on Coach Joe. He's a lap ahead of the 2 there behind him. So it looks like Stan coming in 4th. And let's jump back again. I'm not sure who this is. And so then Stan will be coming in fourth. Looks like we got Joe in fifth. Philip's 18 seconds behind him. So Joe will come in fifth. Looks like Philip has sixth locked up. We can see that Bo is 6 seconds back. You can see him just rounding the corner there, but I think that Philip's got this locked up. Oh my God. Again. So Bo Price is going to come in seventh place here, guys, on a TT bike. That is unreal. All right. And then behind Bo, we got Matt coming in. He is... Oh, he's already in. Sorry. And then we've got back here. I'm not sure what place everyone is in with the laps. These three are all still together. They've been kind of riding together this entire time. Let's see if they're actually going to go for it here. They're going to make a left turn, then a right turn, and then we come on to the final sprint here. Oh, looks like Coach Carl is going for it. Big numbers. Terry going for it too. Let's see if he's going to... Oh, you see the fire? He's wearing the fire socks. That means he's a certain percentage of it. Looks like he's probably got it. Yeah. Then Terry. Then Kathy. Here comes Seth coming to the line. Oh, he's still got, looks like 2 turns to go. And then, of course, you've got me 30 minutes behind there because my avatar is still sitting at the start line. Again, look at this. I mean, he's not slouching. He's doing 200 and some odd watts. And, you know, we're well over 25 miles an hour. Yeah, I can't believe how you guys started that one like it was a 300-meter race. And I know Zwift races start hot, but usually they start hot for about 60 seconds and then kind of settle in. You guys, the entire first lap and a half was just a knife fight. Then back. Yeah, back when I used to do the Zwift races, that's what I was in, was B. And I could always make the selections, but I never had any race-winning moves because I was just tanked at the end, and I don't have a big sprint. So I was always pretty happy if I could just make the front selection and finish, you know, in the top 8 to 15 or so. All right. Well, that looks like that is... Martin says that's way harder than he wanted. Well... I can testify that that is significantly harder, at least at the outset especially, than I expected. I mean, the entire field was on fire at the outset there. And then Ben and Ted and Martin decided to, you know, drop the auxiliary boosters and go even harder after that. So, yeah, a good race, everybody. It looks like everybody is across the line now. And thank you guys for watching. We'll be back next week. And I hope that I'm on the bike. All right, I think you earned it, Joe. Take care. Good to see you, man. All right, hope we'll see you again. Yeah, Frank Musil says he couldn't ride with us. Says he couldn't get on because I had a few people that say that, and I was in the event. I had somebody message me and say that the event wasn't showing up for him. I backed out to check. It didn't show up for me. I had to close the client and reopen. So... yeah, I don't think there's going to be any easy weeks, Ted. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I feel really bad. I wasn't there to help tonight. You shouldn't be chasing those attacks down. That should be me doing that and you sitting on my wheel. So hopefully I won't be 100% probably for the series. I thought I was going to be competing for the, podium here this year. And this whole sickness thing has just been a big bummer. But like I said, I got a bunch of stuff done today. Echocardiogram, urine sample. Basically everything they could get out of me, they got out of me. So hopefully we'll find out what's going on. But yeah, okay. So, anyways, that's it for the stream. Yeah, Martin, I hope it was the update, not anything else. Again, thank you guys all for watching tonight, and we'll be back next week, same time, Thursday, 7 p.m. Next week, the course, I believe, is Volcano Counterclockwise, if I'm correct. See you then.